Hello dear students, welcome to the video lesson on the discipline Foreign Language Level B1. My full name is Pushko Natalia. I am a senior teacher of Foreign Languages Department at Miraz University. The theme of the third lesson is Modern Design and Architecture. Here are the main objectives of the lesson. The first one, to teach how to describe buildings, discuss the principles of modern design, and share their impressions. Next objective is to introduce students to the features of modern architectural style, its history and influence. The next objective is to discuss the influence of modern technologies and ecological approaches on architecture. And the last point, the last objective is to develop critical thinking through the analysis of buildings and their functionality. On this slide, dear students, let's deal with the rise of modernist movement in the early 20th century. Rejection of traditional forms. The early 20th century saw a dramatic shift in architectural thinking. The rise of industrialization and new technologies led to a rejection of ornate, historical styles in favor of simpler, functional forms. This movement sought to break away from the past and create a new aesthetic for the modern world. Emphasis on functionality. Modernist architecture prioritized functionality and efficiency over decoration. Buildings were designed with practical considerations in mind, with a focus on open spaces and natural light and rational use of materials. This principle directly influenced the development of modern design and continues to be a core value in contemporary architecture. On this slide, dear students, let's deal with the characteristics of modern architecture. Here we have four main features of this style. The first one is geometric forms. Simple geometric shapes like squares, rectangles, and circles dominate modern architecture. These forms create a sense of clarity and order, emphasizing the functionality and efficiency of the design. The second feature or characteristic of the style is open floor plans. Modern buildings often feature open floor plans that blur the boundaries between interior and exterior spaces. This allows for greater flexibility and promotes a sense of openness and connection with the surrounding environment. The third feature or characteristic of this type of architecture is emphasis of natural light. Large windows and skylights are essential elements of modern architecture, maximizing natural light and creating a sense of spaciousness. The use of glass also contributes to the aesthetic of transparency and openness. The fourth characteristic of the style is the use of modern materials. Modern architecture embraces new materials like concrete, steel, and glass. These materials offer strength, durability, and a distinct aesthetic that is both sleek and contemporary. Here on this slide, dear students, we have the great examples of modernist style, iconic modernist buildings. Here on the first picture, we have the first example, Bauhaus building. Designed by Walter Gropius in 1925, the Bauhaus building in Dessau exemplifies the principles of modernism with its minimalist form, open spaces, and functional design. On the second picture, we have Falling Water House. Frank Lloyd Wright's masterpiece, Falling Water, is a stunning example of organic architecture, seamlessly integrating the building with its natural surroundings. The first example, the first picture, is Seagram Building. The Seagram Building, designed by Mies van der Rohe in 1958, is a prime example of the international style, with its sleek minimalist form, and elegant use of materials. Let's deal with the international style. The first point is global influence. Emerging in the 1920s and 1930s, the international style became a dominant force in modern architecture, spreading its influence across the globe. This style emphasized functionality, simplicity, and a focus on materials and contribution techniques. The next point is emphasis on minimalism. The international style favored minimalist design with a focus on clean lines, geometric shapes, and a lack of ornamentation. This aesthetic aimed to create a sense of order, clarity, and functionality in modern architecture. Next point is focus on materials. The international style embraced new materials like steel and glass, which were seen as both functional and aesthetically pleasing. This emphasis on materials was a key characteristic of the movement and contributed to the development of new architectural forms. The next point is emphasis on openness. The use of large windows and open floor plans created a sense of openness and connection between the interior and exterior spaces. This emphasis on transparency and light reflected the ideals of modernism, emphasizing a sense of space and connection with the environment. Let's talk about brutalism and expressionism. The first one, brutalism. Emerging in the 1950s and 1960s, brutalism emphasized raw, exposed materials, particularly concrete, often with a raw, unfinished aesthetic. It was a reaction against the perceived coldness and sterility of the international style, seeking to create a more expressive and human-centered architecture. What about expressionism? In contrast to the international styles focused on functionality and minimalism, expressionism embraced a more emotional and expressive approach to architecture. Buildings were often designed with dramatic curves, bold colors, and unconventional forms, reflecting the individual vision of the architect. Let's look at the sustainable and green architecture. The first one is energy efficiency. Sustainable architecture prioritizes energy efficiency through passive heating and cooling strategies, incorporating renewable energy sources like solar panels and wind turbines, and reducing water usage through efficient pumping and rainwater harvesting systems. The second one is use of sustainable materials. Sustainable architecture emphasizes the use of recycled and renewable materials, minimizing the environmental impact of construction. This includes utilizing bamboo, recycled timber, and locally sourced materials to reduce transportation costs and promote regional economies. The third one is integration with nature. Sustainable architecture aims to minimize the impact on the surrounding environment. This includes preserving natural habitats, incorporated green roofs and walls, and creating spaces that promote biodiversity and connect buildings with nature. On this slide, dear students, let's discuss the role of technology in modern design. BIM, Building Information Modeling. BIM software allows architects to create detailed 3D models of buildings, enabling them to visualize the design, simulate building performance, and identify potential problems before construction begins. Digital fabrication. Technology like 3D printing and robotic fabrication allows architects to create complex and intricate forms that were previously impossible to build using traditional methods. This opens up new possibilities for architectural design and innovation. Next one, data analytics. Data analytics can be used to analyze building performance and optimize energy consumption, leading to more sustainable and efficient buildings. By collecting and analyzing data, architects can identify areas for improvement and refine their designs for greater efficiency. Contemporary trends in architecture. Dear students, on this slide we have 4 of them. The first one is sustainability. Contemporary architecture is heavily influenced by the need for sustainable and responsible design practices. This includes incorporating renewable energy sources, using eco-friendly materials, and designing buildings that minimize the impact on the environment. Second trend is urban regeneration. Contemporary architects are increasingly focused on revitalizing existing urban areas, converting abandoned or underutilized buildings into mixed-use spaces that blend residential, commercial, and cultural functions. The third trend is digital design. The use of digital tools and technologies is transforming the way architects design and build. BIM software, 3D printing, and data analysis are allowing for more complex designs, efficient construction processes, and sustainable outcomes. The last trend, the fourth one, is blurred boundaries. Contemporary architecture is blurring the line between traditional architectural styles, incorporating elements from modernism, brutalism, and other movements to create unique and expressive design. What about the future of modern design and architecture? The future of modern design and architecture promises a dynamic fusion of technology, sustainability, and artistic expression. Architects are exploring new materials, adaptive building systems, and advanced technologies to create buildings that are not only aesthetically pleasing, but also responsive, efficient, and environmentally conscious. As we move forward, we can expect to see more integrated urban environments, innovative building designs, and a greater focus on creating spaces that enhance human well-being and promote a sustainable future. Here are the control questions according to today's material. Dear students, our lesson is over. Thank you so much for your attention.